Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Kristina. In my videos, I talk about a plant-based diet, nursing school, and my cancer journey. If you like these types of videos, please like this video and subscribe down below. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about some tips and tricks on how to survive nursing school with a family. So I already know that that sounds like a mouthful, but I promise you it's not as hard as it looks. So let's get into it. For me personally, I have my husband here and my 1.5-year-old daughter. We had moved from New York all the way to Mississippi for this program. I found out about this program when I did my master's. I actually have my master's as well, and I did my master's at the same school. So I was like, why not come back to do my nursing program as well. I am in the accelerated program, so it's a 15-month program, so I really think that that's a great advantage. If you have the opportunity to do it, I highly recommend it. It is, of course, fast-paced, but so is nursing school in general, even if you were traditional. So either way, I really recommend doing it. If you already have your bachelor's, I suggest to just go for it. Tip number one. Tip number one is to get organized, and I can't say this enough. I've said it in previous videos, but I really stand by it. You really want to make sure that you get a planner that you and your significant other have access to. And if you're single, that's okay, then you just have to obviously have it for yourself. But it's just, you want to put all your class dates, so your tests, your assignments, whatever is going to be due. Even if you have I have these little online quizzes, I put that on there. And then you want to put all your kids' events on there. So if you have dance class or football or whatever it may be, or if there's a wedding coming up or someone's birthday, just put everything on that calendar. And it's going to take you probably a few hours to do, but it really will help you. And what I like to do is I take a picture of it, so then I have it on my phone, and I also send that to my husband, so then he has it as well. So we both kind of know, what's going on, or to a certain degree. I mean, there's not dates typically out for months and months, but at least for school, you'll have an idea of what will be due. And that really helps because if you see that you have 1 week where it's really light on between nursing school and your family, events and things going on, then maybe you can work a little bit more on nursing school stuff, and you could do some projects and stuff, so that maybe the following week you could spend more time with your family and do something fun. So it's really about a fine balance, and I like to think of it as like a seesaw. So if you spend too much time with nursing school, you're gonna have, of course, like a seesaw, you're gonna have this, right? It's not gonna be balanced anymore. So you need this balance to happen in order for you to succeed, in order for you to stay level-headed throughout your program, in order for you to be level-headed with your family. Because trust me, I've been there where I am like this with nursing school, and my family, I feel like, I'm not being there for them. So I needed to make a change and be like, you know what? I have to make sacrifices. I already made a sacrifice not being able to see my daughter as much, but in the end, I'm doing this for my family too. So it's kind of like a pros and cons thing, and it's kind of like a double-edged sword in a way, but it really is beneficial at the end when you become a nurse. It's such a rewarding career, and if you have that fire in you like I do, I feel like anything will be possible if you just try. So like I said, get a planner, get all organized, make it pretty if you're into that, get a little bit creative, and just try to stick to getting organized, send it to your husband, and you're good to go. Tip number two. So tip number two is to spend time with your family. Spend time with your family. And it may sound silly, but it's really true, because I've seen posts all over these nursing groups and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, forget your life with your family. Oh, you're never gonna see your husband and stuff like that. It's not true. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have days where that might happen. There was a day where I didn't get to put my daughter to bed, and that really stinks. I'll have to admit, she's 1.5, and not being able to put her to sleep is like the worst feeling ever, but it was one day. And reality sets in because like that one day, yeah, I won't get it back, but I have all this other time with her and I make the best in each moment that I have with her. So I really believe that you should just take time to spend with your family. Nursing school is still going to be there when you wake up tomorrow. If you spend an hour with your family and go for a walk, or you go for a drive, or go out to dinner, it's still going to be there. I promise you that when you get home from hanging out with your family, your assignment's still going to be there, your studying is still going to be there. So it's kind of like, you know, that one little hour, that one little time frame that you designate for your family is really not a big deal. And that gives you the mental clarity so that when you come back to studying, when you come back to reviewing things, you're able to, because everyone needs a break. And if you say you don't, then more power to you. But I need a break. Like, I need some time to watch Netflix or just hang out with my daughter and play with her toys for a little bit. You need to give yourself a break. And it'll make your marriage stronger because you are giving them time and you're showing them, you know, like, I can balance things. And you can. You just have to plan it out or try and figure things out, like, oh, I have a time block in between classes. And in reality, if you have a class that's like 4 hours long and then you have like an hour or two break and then another class that's 3 hours long, are you really going to be doing schoolwork in between that break? Granted, most of the time not really, unless something's due. I personally, like, in between classes, I would be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do this assignment or whatever, get ahead on this. It just doesn't happen. It's just not realistic because you're burnt out from that 4-hour lecture or 3-hour lecture, whatever it is, that you need that time to just relax. And that time, you gotta spend time with your family again. And let's say your significant other isn't working from home and they're actually at work. Well, then maybe you can just do something nice for them at home. Like, maybe you could make some dinner and like put it in the fridge or something for later, or clean a little bit. Do something that, like, for me, like, cleaning is actually therapeutic. So some people might be like, I'm not cleaning, but I really actually enjoy cleaning. So that's something that, like, if my room is tidy, if I'm able to like have everything nice, then I'm able to study better. But at the same time, it's kind of therapeutic. So do something that makes you happy. I definitely recommend spending more time with your family. Tip number 3 is to get your family involved with your studying. I know that might sound weird, but your family is there for you. They're your support. So ask. You never know what they'll say. Like, maybe you have an older son or an older daughter and they want to learn about these things, and you could just rattle off things to them and see what they say, or just intrigue their minds by talking about these things, or show them something that they haven't learned before. I do that to my husband all the time. I'll tell him about how to do injections, I'll tell him how to take care of patients, just like do assessments and stuff like that. He's like my guinea pig. But it's a lot of fun, and you can make it fun, and there's so many things that like happen with your family that when you start doing that, you're teaching someone. And then when you start teaching someone, that goes further into your memory and you retain it more. So it's awesome because not only did you just teach it to someone, now it's getting into your memory even further, and then you'll probably have something that's funny where your child will say something or your husband will say something funny most of the time, and then, or you say something that's funny, and then you'll remember it even more because you'll be like, oh, that's when I was telling my husband this, I know it. So when you're taking your test, you're like, I know this, I know. It becomes so familiar because you're talking about it. Sometimes when you just read a textbook like 20 times, that really doesn't do anything. You need to talk about it. And I know everyone's a different type of learner, but that's just my personal experience. That's what's really helped me, is to talk about things. I do that with my husband, I do that with my friend, Rachel, who's like my go-to study buddy, and we are like really, really good friends because of nursing school. Thank you, Rachel. So I really recommend utilizing your family, making it fun, making it a game. And if you don't have a family, like as far as a husband or children right now, that's okay. have a friend quiz you or like rattle things off, and you can like talk about it, and it makes things like so much easier to understand. And when you teach someone, for some reason it just like sticks so much better. So that's tip number 3. Tip number 4 I recommend is to utilize all of your resources. So at school, they typically provide you some like questions, whether it's the back of the book questions or the questions that are online. Like with our book, they came with like these questions. They're called EAQs, that our teachers give us access to like answer certain questions so that we can understand the material better. And for some people, that really helps them a lot. For me, I felt like they were super helpful for certain classes. But you just have to see. You have to see what works for you. So that is something that I feel like you really just need to like figure out different ways to learn. So I personally learn better watching videos, talking about the material, teaching the material, and then like looking at slides and referencing back to my textbook so that I have a ton of different angles of learning. And it really helps because there are certain times where I'm like, I have no idea what this material is, and then I watch a YouTube video. Or I'm like, I think I know this concept, but I'm not really sure. And then I teach it to someone. So someone being my husband or my friend, or just talking to my daughter. And she's only, you know, a year and a half, but that's okay. Another resource that I recommend using is Quizlet, because Quizlet is great. You can make those online electronic index cards that you have like whenever you need it. You could study it from your phone, which is great. Like if you're out somewhere and like, let's say you're waiting for an oil change, you could just like flip through some cards and like learn material that way. I've done that so many times where I'm like trying to figure out like certain concepts. I'll pull up a YouTube video, I'll pull up Quizlet, whatever it is, like I will do it. So that's tip number 4. Tip number 5. The last tip that I have for you guys is to talk to a previous nursing student. Whether it's someone that went to the school, someone from like a Facebook group. There's certain like Facebook groups for nursing students which are awesome. And I'm sure they even have one for like nursing students with families. So I definitely recommend to go on Facebook and check it out. But I personally like to speak to a nursing student from like a previous semester or someone who has graduated from my personal school, because they know our teachers, they know kind of the ropes of things, and it just helps me, like guides me on what to expect, because I tend to get anxious about like what's gonna happen. So I really think that it's helpful when you talk to someone. You kind of just have to be open and just willing to like, you know, be like, hey, what semester are you in? And they'll be like 3rd or 4th, and I'll just be like, can you give me any advice? And surprisingly, everyone has been super helpful. Like I was really nervous that they're gonna be like, I had no help, bye. But they really weren't. They were so sweet and so helpful, and I really appreciate them, because they tell you things like, oh, this lecture, make sure to like review the textbook thoroughly, or focus on the PowerPoints more, or just like random things like that, like, oh, make sure you do a lot of index cards. They just give you tips and tricks on like what to really focus on. Obviously you need to learn all of the material, but it's just like a better guideline on what to expect, because every semester is a little bit different. All the teachers have different styles of teaching too. So one might be better, like some people will be like, oh, just listen to her lecture, make sure you really pay attention, because that's how she really tests and that's how she really goes over material. So I feel like that's super helpful so that I have a better idea of what to expect. So that's tip number 5. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like this video and subscribe down below. If you have any questions at all, feel free to DM me. My Instagram is listed down below. And I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye!